Hey everyone, Jordan here with 9 to 5 Toys, and today, as you can see, we're checking out two new headsets from Razer. We have the BlackShark V2 and the BlackShark V2X, which is the entry level. These headsets share a lot of similarities, especially in their overall design. They are both 3.5mm wired headsets, but on the BlackShark V2, the big difference here is that we have the USB sound card from Razer, and so we're going to talk about that quite a bit more here in the rest of this video. These headsets are designed for competitive gamers who want a very simple yet very functional headset with a lot of really great features. So let's check them out. Thanks for watching 9 to 5 Toys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and enable notifications with the bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming videos. So right off the bat here, first up we have the BlackShark V2X, which is the entry level that comes in at $60. And what you're getting for this is a very simple, very basic competitive gaming headset. So you can see it has the overall helicopter kind of design with these large ear cups, and obviously has adjustable size on there so you can get it adjusted to the right size for your head. And then on the X, we have the always attached Hyperclear microphone down here, which on the regular V2 is removable. So we'll get into that here in just a second. But also on the X, you see that we have the 3.5mm wire, the cable over here, which has an adapter. So in its standard form, it has the tip ring sleeve connector. So that's going to work with mobile devices, with laptops, connections that have both audio output and microphone input in the same jack. But if you're on a PC that has those separated inputs, there is an adapter here which gives you the separate inputs for audio and microphone. So whichever device you're using, you can use the BlackShark V2X on that. As far as design goes, you'll also notice that on the X there is a volume knob here, which does have a little notch in the middle so you know when you're at 50%, and there's a microphone mute toggle button back here, so really easy to toggle to mute that. And we'll talk about some of the design and features on the big brother, the V2 here, and then we'll get into some of the comfort and the comparisons between the two. So on the BlackShark V2, you can see the same overall design. So it has that helicopter kind of design to it. You can see the emblems on here. The Razer logo is the green on there, whereas it's blacked out on the X. And then, like we mentioned, one big difference is with the Hyperclear microphone. That can be removed. So if you're playing a game where you won't be doing any communicating and you want to get that out of the way, you can quickly and easily remove that. The V2 also has the same volume dial on the side here and the same microphone mute toggle. So pretty much the same design layout as the X. The V2 also has a 3.5 tip ring sleeve connector here, so that's going to send both audio and microphone to devices like your Xbox One, your PS4, so both of these are compatible with pretty much any of today's devices. But when you're using the V2 on a PC, you can use the USB sound card, which unlocks a ton of different customizability in the Razer Synapse 3 app. So you just plug the 3.5mm into here, and then you have a USB connection that you can plug into your Windows 10 PC. Now quickly about the comfort, even though they have a very similar design between the two, some of the materials on the ear cups and the headband are a little bit different, so they do feel a little bit different. The X actually has what feels like a kind of leatherette kind of finish to it, both on the ear cups and on the headband, which is typically more of a premium finish. But I did not find it as comfortable as the bigger brother V2. On the X, these ear pads are a little bit stiffer, so they aren't as soft, and obviously maybe that'll break in over time, but directly out of the box, they were definitely stiffer and didn't have as soft of a touch as what I found on the V2. But that being said, they're both very lightweight and very comfortable. The ear cups are deep and plenty big for my ears. It didn't feel like I was rubbing up against anything. And on the V2 especially, I found the headset to be very comfortable for long gaming sessions. The material on the V2 is meant to be more breathable. It's not the leatherette that's found on the X, so that's supposed to help keep you cool while you're gaming. One of the other major considerations with these ear cups was sound isolation. So they both do a really good job with passive noise cancellation. There isn't any ANC in either of these headsets, so all of the sound isolation is just passive through these large ear cups. And they do a really good job, I think, of that. Obviously, if you're gaming in a really loud room with a lot of other stuff going on, you are still going to get some background noise coming through here, but they do a pretty good job of blocking out background noise. The ear cups don't rotate at all to lay flat. You know, they're always in this kind of situation, but there is quite a bit of play in there to make sure that it's getting, a good seat on your head. So moving into the sound a little bit, Razer is debuting a new patented driver technology they're calling their TriForce driver technology. These 50mm drivers are split into 3 different sections for lows, mids, and highs, which allows individual tuning of those different frequency ranges. But overall, with those and with Synapse on the USB sound card on the BlackShark V2, there is a ton of customization you can do with the frequencies. Both of the headsets feature that 50mm TriForce driver, but on the BlackShark V2, they're coated in titanium for a little bit more rigidity, which is usually better for helping to prevent muddiness and gives a little more clarity in sound. I spent most of my listening with the BlackShark V2, and I'll tell you, it hits really down low with a frequency response of 12 to 28,000 hertz. There's a lot of range in there for you to tweak the sound really to what you're doing to make it sound the best. And on the BlackShark V2, all of those tweaks are done within Razer Synapse 3. There's a whole suite of different EQ settings you can enable or disable with, I think, a 10-band equalizer with boosts and cut up to 12 decibels. So quite a bit in there that you can tweak to really get this how you want it to sound. They also have controls for bass boost if you just want a generic boost to the low end. They have sound normalization, which tries to kind of compress all the sound coming through. So if you want to prevent really loud explosions from happening, startling you compared to really soft footsteps. There's also a voice clarity mode which you can enable, which is meant to maximize clarity when it comes to communications. So if you're playing with a teammate, you're having a little bit of trouble hearing, you can enable that and communication should come through even clearer. And so the last major feature with the BlackShark V2 is the THX Spatial Audio, which obviously is only available on the USB sound card version of this. So this isn't something that will apply to the X unless you have a USB sound card, then I think you can just plug this into it. But Razer has worked with THX and to provide a spatial audio mode, which typically I'm pretty critical of these, virtual 7.1, virtual surround sound. I don't typically use those modes, but I've been really impressed with it in this THX spatial audio mode. Razer with THX have worked quite extensively to create sound modes for better audio cues when gaming and to differentiate sounds to easily pick out directions in crucial situations. There's a simple toggle within Razer Synapse to enable or disable this. And then there is an auto mode or a manual mode where you can set different profiles to different applications and different games. Like I said, I've been really impressed with this, and surprisingly I found myself using the THX spatial audio almost exclusively when I was testing on Escape from Tarkov. I felt like it really helped to differentiate sounds and also pinpoint their directions a lot easier. And so Razer and THX have taken this even a step further to work with the developers and make specific sound profiles for a lot of popular games right now. For games like CSGO, Valorant, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, they've actually worked with the developers to create profiles that are specifically designed to enhance different sounds and audio cues in those games to make it easier to pick out directions and pick up on those cues. And while those profiles aren't launching today with these headsets, they will be available next week. So while I haven't been able to spend much time with the profiles on the BlackShark V2, even just the demos that Razer has played with games like Apex Legends really make a great difference in picking out audio cues. And the last piece I want to talk about here is the Hyperclear microphone, which I've been really impressed with so far. Typically, I'm critical of gaming headset microphones because a lot of them don't sound great. They sound really thin and it's not a natural sound. But Razer has put a lot of nice functionality into the Hyperclear on the BlackShark V2. And we'll hop over to my computer here and run through some of the different settings on there so you can hear how that microphone sounds. All right, so here we are over at my PC, and we're going to go through how the microphone sounds and some of the different changes that you can make with the USB sound card on the BlackShark V2. So first up, I'm using the BlackShark V2X here. So this is just the Hyperclear microphone, and we'll swap over to the audio from that so you can get an idea of what that sounds like. Hi, this is Jordan with 9 to 5 Toys, and we are testing out the BlackShark V2 microphone. And here we'll do a bit of keyboard noise as well so you can hear how that sounds and how that picks up. So I have the Razer Huntsman Mini, which we just did a video review on, and this one has their purple clicky optical switches, so a pretty loud switch, and you can hear how that sounds in here. Check, check. Testing 1, 2. Testing the BlackShark V2. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of how that sounds. Obviously there are programs and different ways that you can try to minimize background sound. Like even in Discord there are some settings that you can play around with and some other third-party applications as well. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the BlackShark V2. This is the $100 version, still has the same Hyperclear microphone, but within Synapse with the USB sound card, there are a lot of tweaks you can make to the microphone. So we're going to hop over in here into Synapse and click on the Razer USB sound card. All right, so what we want to look at here is the microphone with the Hyperclear microphone. So as you can see, there are a ton of different tweaks you can make in here, which is awesome. So first up is microphone volume. So you can tweak that around and adjust that where you want it to be for whatever application or game you're playing. There is mic boost, which just boosts up that level automatically. And then there is a voice gate. Obviously, this is going to help minimize background noise, which I found this to be really powerful. We just did a sound comparison with the BlackShark V2X in the keyboard, and now we'll do that same thing with the BlackShark V2. So here it is with that disabled. You can hear how the keyboard sounds. And even when I stop, you can still hear that coming through. But if we enable that voice gate and keep it at a reasonable 52, you can hear how that sounds. So that keyboard, I can see on my audio levels, the keyboard isn't even coming through when I stop talking. So this is, a game changer for when you're playing a game and you don't want a ton of background noise to be coming through to your teammates. That is a really easy way to cut back all those keyboard noises, even with a super noisy keyboard like the Razer Huntsman Mini with those clicky optical switches. And as you can see on here, it has the low, medium, and high. So that is basically the sensitivity of the voice gate. So if you have it all the way low, that's going to be the most aggressive voice gate that you can get. So it's going to really cut back on background noise and try to keep stuff out. But then if you set it all the way on the high side, it's going to pick up a lot more background noise. So it still picks up the keyboard. Even when I stop, some of that stuff is still coming through. So you can just play around in there and see where you want that to sit. And voice normalization in here is going to try to, just like other audio modes, compress all of those different sounds. So it's not, super loud and it's not super quiet for that output going out. And there are also modes for vocal clarity. So we'll click that and select that so you can hear how that sounds. This is with vocal clarity enabled. I'm dragging it all the way up to the highest setting. And now I'm going to put it back in the middle at 50. And now we're going to drag it all the way down to low. So this is at 10. So you can hear how the vocal clarity sounds in that. And we'll go through and we're going to turn that off. And then there's also an ambient noise reduction, which I don't have a whole lot of noise going on in this room. But obviously, if that is something that you want to try to reduce, you can enable that and you can hear how that sounds. So this is with the BlackShark V2 and we have the ambient noise reduction enabled. And I'm going to disable that again. And then we're going to go over here and you can look at the mic equalizer. So there are just a ton of different settings you can play around with in here. Right now we have it set to default, so all those EQ settings are flat across the board. But you can see you can adjust probably about 10 different bands from negative to +5 decibels. So here with the different mic equalizer settings, obviously, like I said, we're on default now, but we can go to mic boost, check, 1, 2, and hear how that sounds. And then we can go to broadcast and hear how that sounds. Hopefully that gives it a little bit more of an even sound. Obviously boosts up the low end there. We'll go to conference and check that out and hear how that sounds. Test, check, 1, 2. And then obviously you can make your own custom settings as well. So this one's kind of all over the place. There's also a mic monitoring or side tone. It doesn't seem like you can actually hear what changes it's making when you tweak in here, but that's just an easier way so you aren't, yelling over the microphone because you can't hear yourself. So with all these different settings and everything that you can change, I've found the Hyperclear microphone on the BlackShark V2 to be really powerful, and it's really easy to customize it and get a sound that's right for whatever your situation is. Hopefully that gives you a good idea of how the Hyperclear microphone sounds. Like I said, I've been really impressed with it so far. I think it's a perfectly capable microphone. If you do want to take it to the next level, check out my video on how to make your gaming headset microphone sound better for free, which I'll link down in the description below. So overall, wrapping up here, I think that Razer has hit the nail right on the head with the BlackShark V2. Its simple design matched with impressively vast feature set make it a killer headset for casual and competitive gaming. And Razer and THX are going to be working together further with developers to create more profiles for a lot of today's games. And of course, while the BlackShark V2X is a great entry point, still has a lot of great features. I think it sounds great and performs really well. Personally, I think that the customization and THX Spatial audio are definitely worth the $100 price point of the Razer BlackShark V2. So what do you think of the Razer BlackShark V2 and BlackShark V2X? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. This is Jordan with 9to5 Toys.